Hello, my name is Mike Madden from MJMEnergy, and I have been assisting ERRA with this short research paper that examines the regulatory, technical, and economic readiness of countries regarding the use of parts of gas networks for the blending and transportation of hydrogen and biomethane. This approach aims to maximize network usage and minimize stranded assets. However, before providing an overview of the paper, it is helpful to understand why ERRA invested in this research. Historically, natural gas has served as a key energy source to millions, providing a reliable and relatively clean alternative to coal and oil. This has resulted in substantial investments being made over decades, creating a vast global network that spans millions of kilometers. However, as countries implement decarbonisation policies, the energy landscape is evolving, posing challenges to gas infrastructure, such as underutilization and stranded assets, as energy markets increasingly favour renewable sources. This paper begins by highlighting several key drivers that contribute to this evolving environment. Firstly, gas demand is reducing for several reasons, including the rapid deployment of renewable energy technologies, growth in the demand for electricity in both heating and transportation, improvements in energy efficiency, and regional geopolitics, which is limiting physical gas flows in some places. Secondly, the changing environmental and geopolitical policies, such as carbon pricing, emission standards, and fossil phase-out plans, are also influencing the economics of natural gas usage. As a result of these factors, policymakers face a dilemma. They need to manage the tension between ensuring cost recovery for current gas infrastructure whilst also avoiding further dependence on fossil fuels, taking into account the economic, social, and environmental impact of both existing energy policies and evolving environmental policies. One strategy that this short paper explores is the potential for repurposing existing gas networks for use with low carbon gases such as hydrogen and biomethane to promote sustainability. This approach offers several benefits as follows. It preserves the value of existing assets and avoids the financial impact of stranded investments. It leverages established rights of way and technical expertise, reducing the need for new infrastructure. And it provides a pathway for decarbonising sectors that are difficult to electrify. However, the feasibility of repurposing gas networks depends on several factors, including technical factors. For example, hydrogen poses risks of embrittlement, while biomethane requires adjustments for consistent quality and impurity removal. Regulatory factors, for example, existing regulations, which are typically tailored for stable markets, will need to adapt to declining usage and changing gas compositions. Economic factors, such as economic viability, will be crucial for repurposing gas networks in this way, and international factors, such as when gas networks cross borders. It is against this background that ERRA sponsored this research, which includes a questionnaire that asks ERRA members to evaluate the regulatory, technical, and economic readiness of TSOs and DSOs in their jurisdictions for repurposing gas networks for the integration of hydrogen and biomethane. The questionnaire gathered information on national approaches to this issue, identifying gaps and highlighting regulatory practices that might either support or hinder decarbonisation. Areas covered including the management of stranded assets, policy design, incentive mechanisms, technical issues, and environmental concerns. I do not intend to present the results of this analysis in this brief video. For that information, please refer to the report itself. However, I will provide a brief summary of some of the insights gained. For example, it would appear that the level of preparedness is patchy, with the following areas needing the most attention. The development of strategic approaches to maximize existing natural gas assets while reducing emissions. The establishment of common technical standards. The development of coordination between gas and electricity regulators. The creation of regulatory frameworks for managing stranded assets. And finally, the development of regulatory policies and standards. However, Perhaps the most important takeaway from this work is that if TSOs, DSOs, regulators, and governments are to facilitate the use of hydrogen and biomethane in existing gas networks to maximize utilization and minimize stranded assets, then a substantial amount of work must be done within a relatively short time frame. To achieve significant progress in this area, regulators, TSOs, DSOs, and governments will need to collaborate. I hope you enjoy the report. Thank you.